Alright guys, we are pretty much at the finish line. All we need to do, we have our data updated, so we just need to write it out to the COM port and then do some testing. Very simply, to write our data out to our COM port, all you have to do is write outside of this for loop, type underscore port dot write. Okay, and the data we are going to write is data. And our offset right here, you can see what you have to fill in. Our offset, we want to start at the very beginning, so our offset is 0. And the size of our data is underscore data dot count. And that's it. That writes the data out to our COM port. Now, one thing I don't like about this setup is if you look at this, what's happening is every time a command comes through, whether we want to use it or not, it's going to come down and it's going to write our data to our port. So the way I chose to handle it was to create a bool variable. I called it isDirty, implying that our data is dirty. And if we have any kind of data change, we'll set that isDirty variable to true, and then if that isDirty variable is true, we will write the data. If it's still at false, we will not bother writing it. So let's just create a bool variable. Bool isDirty, and we'll set that equal to false to start. So automatically it's false. And then what we'll do, if we come down and we have data that we are going to write down here to our data underscore data object, once there is a change to that data object, we want to set that isDirty variable equal to true. That way we know if there was a change to the underscore data object, we can tell, and then this way we can just use an if statement to test that, and then write the data if it is dirty. So if is dirty, this implies if is dirty is equal to true, then we are going to write our port data. Okay, so now we should only be writing out to the port if we see a command come in that we want to use and we changed our data variable. One thing I almost forgot, once we write the data, we want to set isDirty equal to false again. Okay, so now we can go ahead and build it, and then we can test it, and we are done. Go ahead and build your solution. Okay, now to test it, I said in the very beginning, we can use this utility. It's called portmon. All you have to do is open it up, go to computer, we're going to connect local, and then in in capture we want ports. We want to make sure that there's a check next to this COM1 serial port. If there's not a check, just click on it. It will check it. And then all we have to do is go into Vixen in our application. Once that comes up, okay, we just want to make sure that we have some channels set up, and we want to make sure that we have an output set up. Let's only have one in there for now. So here we have our output module set to 4 channels, and then we can click OK, get out of here, and then we can go into our Vixen test bed. And one way I've been doing it, if you show the editor, what we can do is we can just drag some effects in there just so we have data that's going to be going out. Let's do a little set level. Then we can do a twinkle down here. And then once we play this, we should see output going to our port mod. So let's make that so we can see it. Scroll down to the bottom. Let's scroll to the right so we can actually see the data that's coming through. Click play. And there you go. See, we're getting data coming through. That is the data we are seeing. Now, if you want to make it so that it's a little more readable, just click stop. If you click this, this switches between whether it's going to show what the ASCII values are or if or what the text values are. So you can play around with this. But what we are seeing, we are getting four values sent to our COM port. That means that our output module is working. And congratulations, you stood with me all the way through, and we are all set to go. Now let's go ahead and stop this. I just want to briefly cover real quick, where do you go from here? Well, I would suggest if you're going to create an output module, that's great. But you could also use the information we've learned so far to look into programming effects, anything. All the basics of a module are the same. So if you download KC created some sample modules. If you look into these sample modules, I already downloaded them and expanded them. You can get them straight off the forums. You can look into, say, effects. Here's a sample effects. He actually has a sample effect made here, and he also has notes here on how you would go about creating an effect. And a lot of this information, now that we have the basics, you understand what the module class is what we call the instance, and it'll talk about the data class, etc. So you should be able to follow this a little bit better now. Maybe down the road I'll do some other tutorials. We'll see. But other than that, I hope this helps.